Morning, legends. Here we are, 6:15 in the morning on a very Sunday Friday, and it's another brew day. I've come in super early today to get on with this brew day because we're forecast amber warnings for weather across the UK, as in it's going to be hot, and to try and get as much of the brew day done when it's a little bit cooler anyway, at least before it really starts to hot up towards the afternoon. I'm doing the tap room this evening as well, so I've got to have the tap room open for 4:30. I've got to pick my lad up from school at 3:30, so we're in nice and early to try and get this done. This is a bit of a second attempt. I did actually brew Saturday previous, so sort of 7 days ago, but it was an absolute nightmare, and I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. And all the footage and all that sort of stuff didn't work. Didn't record half as much stuff as I should have done because it was that much of a nightmare. So it's a bit of a take two, this one, to a point. This has been number 2 of the run into LCBF. We're also hopefully going to small pack as well as have available for London Craft Beer Festival. So yeah, we're kind of compressing down brewing and getting all the stuff done, so we hopefully have the beers in time, ready to keg and take into the beer festival. So let's get this set up. Grain's already weighed out. Pretty straightforward, sensible, simple-ish. Grist today, so this is a 4% hazy pale, loads of fruit and juice and all that good stuff going on, but very sessionable. Yeah, kind of finishing gravity around sort of, I think it's 10:14, I think it is, so 10:13, so not like dry, crispy, but not like super juice, so really nicely in between. We've made it before under a different name for a very bar near us that's really good friends of ours. So this is 100 kilos of extra pale, 55 kilos of Golden Promise, 16 kilos of Golden Naked Oats, and 10 kilos of wheat malt, and then just the water treatment that goes with it. So hot liquor tanks on recirc. Mash, we're shooting for 69 degrees today, so right at the higher end. Get a load of body in there in that lower ABV. Let's get all this stuff set up and let's get going. So I think it might only be 6 o'clock, excuse the noise, but we're going to open the roller doors now. So back to the scales again to weigh this out. So I said this one isn't super juice, but it's got a good amount of body to it. So off the top of my head, I think the chloride in this beer is about sort of 148. We're aiming for. Usual sulfate for me is I like to just boost it a little bit, just to give a little bit of bite to the beer. So it's going to be in the sort of 28 ppm range. So here we want 80 grams of calcium chloride. Have I got? Yes, I have. I've got it here. I've got stuff on top of the box I need to get to, which is a pain. Need to come up with something better for in here. So calcium chloride. So I'm sure you lot have seen before. Sorry, you're wandering off, I can't see, but yeah, calcium chloride there. 80 grams. This is obviously all just the mash salts. Oh, just a little bit short, 5 grams short, a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be a hot one today. So yeah, it's but we try and get in as early as possible within reason, and try and get as much of this done before it really heats up. 55. Been toying with the idea about even though the water here is super good, 58, but that's good enough. Even though the water here is super good, low mineral content, it's obviously never nothing. I'm toying with the idea about whether to get an RO system. Nothing too expensive, nothing too crazy, but yeah, just wondering whether that might give us a little bit more control. Right, that's the salts done. So yeah, been toying with the idea of an RO system, or even if we split the RO and did like half of all the mash liquor was RO and then half original sort of groundwater from here. Just wondering whether that would give us a little bit more control, maybe give us a little bit something extra to the beers. Just been toying with the idea of that really, about what that could do. I might try and do a little test maybe on the homebrew kit, get a hold of either some Ashbeck or some RO water, then do like a homebrew batch and just see how it compares with one of the beers we know, and then just see what that's like. Relatively inexpensive, I think, for a big enough kit for this is about 500 quid, 600 quid, and then obviously installing it and stuff, which is fine. Obviously you have the wastage, so there is that element to it when you're doing the RO process, but yeah, I've just wondered whether that would do something. But it's what the thing is, all the time just thinking about what can we do that's better, what can we do to improve. But yeah, it's just one of the things I've been thinking about. Be interested to hear what other people are doing using spotless water or RO water at home, and do they find a real big difference if you've got good groundwater anyway. Anyway, right, that's all the salt's done. Let's get on with it. All right then, so let's get mashed in. So those of you who've been here before, remember this thing is noisy as hell to begin with, until some of the grain starts to get through the auger. Let's get the lid off. Frot on there. Oof. Cool. Right. Let's get some water going. Not quite above the mash plates, but that shouldn't take too long. Go. Let's go. There we go, that's bang on. Just coming above the mash plate, so. A little bit wetter. Oh, maybe not that wet. Not bad to begin with. Don't fall over. Whoops, don't. So as before, liquor to grist ratio 2.8 to 1. So which is kind of fairly standard. Some people go wetter. But I found that kind of works for us to get the temperature we want and to get the extraction. Get a little bit more water in there, I think. Tweak it as we go through to get it right. But yeah, I mean this hydrator is just awesome. I used to do this all by hand. It's just insane. So yeah. So yeah, smaller grain bill today than the brew day that was last week. That was 250 kilos. That was Big Bird, so that was 6.2%. Big kind of New England IPA kind of thing. Whereas this is obviously still same volumes, but 4%, so much lower grain bill needed. There's some grain on top of this. So I want to get to the golden naked oats, so we can start to, and the wheat, so we can start to feed those in as we go. Ugh. Back is still killing, but can't stop. Got to keep going. Got to get these beers ready for the for LCBF. So I'm on holiday literally within days straight afterwards. So I am going to lie down after that. Yeah, it's been a busy year, and hopefully we're going to continue to have a busy summer. So, but a break is definitely needed. But big push from the team to get us ready and into LCBF, which will be, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. I see how moist it is. Even the calcium chloride started to clump up already. Bit of acid in there. How are we doing on water? So usually work on about a basis of 100 litres per bag. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and a bit. So yeah, we're there and thereabouts. That's good. Really starting to get to know with this auger now. Just set the flow, and you just kind of know what you're getting. So yeah, so Charlie's got the weekend off this weekend, so I'm brewing and doing the tap room Friday, Saturday. So it's another reason to get in today and get the brew day done. So I've got some chance of having, you know, the knock-in of the brew day complete when I've got to get all the benches out and start serving people. So brought a spare t-shirt with me as well, because I'm gonna be a bit damp after today, I think. Little dough ball snuck in there, you little devil. And there. So yeah. So this is a beer previously known as Ups. We did it again, which was a beer we did for a bar, Cassidy's, near us, that have supported us right since day one. Lovely couple, Luke and Becca, and we did a beer for their first birthday previous year, and we said we'd do one again this year, which we did, which was awesome. It sold really well. It was 4%. So I thought, you know what? Let's do it for LCBF. It was a really good, like, lower ABV beer. So yeah, hence here we are. Yeah, it's kind of Mosaic, Columbus, Citra in there, and a little bit of Strata as well in the dry hop. It was Idaho 7 was my most favourite hop in the world, but I think it might be Strata at the moment. Oh, flashback. Yeah, I think it might be Strata. So, you know, little bit strata in there as well. So, was super popular though. Cassidy's themselves were rattling through a couple of kegs a week of it. And we went through it super quick here as well. So, not gonna lie, it should be worth doing again. Keeping an eye on that water. Got a few more salts in there. A little bit more acid. Whew. Hot. Yeah, considering, don't fall out you, we used to do this by hand before, so literally tipping the bags in with the water running over the side and then sort of manually stirring before. It's insane really. I might have said before, but I think the increased efficiency we get, because the grain's just properly wet when it comes through now. We're not like dry hitting the water and then you've got to get it wet. It's like the way I've described it before, it's like you make a cup of coffee with instant coffee and you just like drop the coffee grinder straight up top of the water. They kind of sit there and you've really got to work to kind of get them to dissolve in. I know that might be a crap analogy, but it's the best I can come up with it. 6:45 in the morning. Bear with, a little bit more water. Bag and sort of 2 bags worth to go now. So yeah, so this is a beer, so previously known as Uts. So what we got left? We've got 150 with kind of 2 bags to go, which is fine because we know what the total grist liquor is. So whatever goes into the mash or doesn't just carries through into the sparge, but I think we should be there and thereabouts. Right, just slow the water down a little bit. I haven't got my temperature probe again. So we seem to forget that at the moment. You know why? Yeah, warmer mash temperature we're shooting for today, so 69. I'll be interested to see where this is. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a bit on the high side given how bleeding warm it is. So yeah, last bag in. Oh, can't see for the sweat. You could have heat-o-vision, you'd understand where we are right now. Please, neck. Got about 100 litres left. And there we go. Cool. Right then. Last knockings. Last bag. A little bit more water. Quite nice to get one of those like plunger type mash paddles. Quite good for kind of lifting the grain that's at the bottom and bringing it to the top, rather than the good old trusty food safe spade. But something I might have to have a look out for. Yeah, looking good so far. Taking the ratchet off that valve as well, that's been brilliant. Not mucking around with between teeth all the time and all that malarkey. Give it a little nudge. Oh, blinded, literally. Right then, make sure we get all of this. Well, this augur's pretty good actually. Everything does tend generally, because of the angle of it, generally tend to funnel down in, so that's good. Oh, little dovel there. Every now and then one will sneak through. How are we doing on water, I wonder? Can't see, there's a hose in the way, but we're going to be pretty close, if not a little bit over, which is cool. I'm fine with that. This is looking good. I'll bring you up and give you a show in a sec. A little bit more water in there, I reckon. Got to be getting close to the back end. And there's the noise. Yeah, that's really noisy. Give us a quick flush. Anything that was left in there. It's a little bit wet, but that's all right. I'm all right with this. I find, particularly when it all floats and the grain bed sets. Right. Let's check our temperature. The other noise you can hear going is the chiller on the cold liquor tank. Obviously, if I didn't have cold water for chilling and stuff today. We're just using groundwater. We'd be here forever. So, so yeah, hopefully I set that going yesterday. We should have some nice cold water. It's a little warm, 69.8, and I was looking for 69. We're going to come to the top. 69.9, 69.8, 0.7. If I give this a stir, leave the lid off for a bit, I think we'll be fine. I'm not gonna muck around in this heat and trying to cool it down a bit and stuff. I don't think. Although I could drop a tiny little bit of cold water into it, but it's quite loose as it is. So I said I'd give you a quick show of I'll get my feet up of the mash tun. So down in here. So yeah, all mashed in. Looking pretty good. Little bit on the wetter side, but you know, it's fine. It's, you know, it's absolutely fine. Hydrator has again done the best job in the world ever. So yeah, we are 7:15, mashed in, done. Yeah, start the timer and let's get a bit of a clear up done. So, quick pH check. Mash has been running for about 33 minutes. Temperature check, 21.5 at 8 o'clock in the morning. But I just thought I'd just show you my pH check. I always do. I need to sit down and do this properly, but I haven't recalibrated my pH meter for since last brew day or brew day before. I can't remember. So I always measure out some pH 7 first, so I always know how far out, if it's slid at all. I've just tested this and it's still from like it was at the last brew day, sort of 0.05 out from that. So actually it's just ticked up just by one little bit. So this is my pH meter. This Hannah Instruments one is mega. It's got a temperature compensating probe. So yeah, 6.95, 6.96. So let me just clean that off in the water there. And then if I give it a little dry and give it a little swirl in my mash, which my temperature probe here compensates for. I'll swing you around so you can have a quick look. So here you go. And we are on 5.39, which being 0.4, 0.5 out, calibration wise, that's bang on. So yeah, temperature probe compensates with the pH meter to give me an accurate compensation reading. Dirty screen there. I'm not sure if that's reflecting, but if you can see that, but yeah, 5.38. I'm going to take that all day long. So yeah, happy days. 25 odd minutes. The really expensive £2.50 Amazon timer there, doing the mash. But yeah, we're all kind of cleaned up, all sorted out and ready to go. Brew has to just finish in a last little caustic. I'll put that onto rinse in a minute. Sparge water is heating up. So yeah, brew day is moving along nicely. So that is the mash timer going off. I'm just I've emptied the caustic out of the brew house. Let's finish that reset because that should be enough to go now. So yeah, just done just loading it out with some fresh water just to rinse it out. Mash time has just gone off. So let's start to jug this baby over. And yeah, see what we've got. All right then, that valve's shut. That one's shut. Yep. I think I've said before, I'd like to be able to get this on the pump and then to be able to pump it over. I know my mate Andy at Four Priest, he's able to pump it over with his setup. Oh, that valve needs a little tighten. You need to steer that from there, don't fall off. So yeah, that's a future. Ooh, wobbly step. It's hard finding places to put cameras when you're doing this kind of recording and stuff. It's precarious, terribly precarious. So yeah, like I said before, jugging this over, trying to kind of do that kind of dead space volume that sits underneath the plates. Try and get it up on top so that can then flow down through the mash bed. So I'll tell you the story. So last Saturday, Brew Day, Big Bird, as I was talking about earlier, and quite a big grain bill, 250 kilos, lots of extra pow, golden naked oats, put loads of rice hulls in it, but we hit a few problems where I had basically 2 stuck mashes because the sparge runoff was really slow, like really slow. Like I got to, sparge usually is like an hour and 20, hour and 30 maybe for a big batch like that. And I got to like 40 minutes in, I'd only literally got 200 litres through, and it was a 600 litre sparge. So there was really something bad going on somewhere. So I kind of persevered as long as I could. And then in the end, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to have to underlet it. So I blew hot liquor into the bottom of the mash tun, in from the bottom up, to lift the grain bed up. And then I got in there with a shovel basically to break it up, and it was the mash bed was just rock solid, absolutely rock solid. Really struggled to get my spade through it and to break it up, but broke it up eventually. Got about 70, 80, 90 litres into it. Restarted the sparge and the runoff again. Ran okay for about 40 minutes and then just slowed down to a stop again. Well, not quite a stop, but a dribble. So I was like, right, and this was probably, we're a good hour and 40 into it by this point. And I was like, right, we'll get one more go. We'll try it again. Underlet it again. Really, really tried to break it up. Load from underneath. And luckily did, and really managed to get it stirred, and then managed to get the rest of the sparge through and get all the liquor through. Eventually then ended up hitting our volume numbers, actually hit our final gravity. We're only out by 1 point, which is amazing. But I got in contact with symptoms because when I was even digging the mash tun out, the grain just didn't look right. It was really compact and dense, and it was like heavier on the shovel than it would do normally, if that sounds like a thing. And normally when you're digging the mash tun out from the middle, like the sides of the grain kind of collapses in as you're digging it out, kind of partly does the job for you. But on this occasion, you were digging it out and everything was just staying exactly where it was. There was nothing was moving. So it was definitely more compacted, more solid. And we did notice when we were measuring all the grains out that it was a lot dustier than usual. And I got in contact with Simpsons, and they're like, yeah, I sent them a few pictures of what the mash tun and contents look like. They're like, yeah, we've been having problems with something called friability. So that's like almost how crushable the malted grains are. And he says, by the looks of it, I normally have fine, grilled, milled fine, like most home brewers do. He says, I suspect because of the friability problem, it's kind of like almost over milled and gone too powdery, and that's why you have this problem. So fair play to Simpsons, because I was like, well, I'm brewing again on Friday. I need the grain by Thursday. I can't not have it. So you guys are going to need to do something. And fair play to them. They're like, how many bags of extra pale have you got? How many did you kind of use? Did you waste any work? All that sort of stuff. And they fast couriered out a replacement pallet within 2 days of coarse milled extra pale. Interestingly, which I wasn't aware was a thing, but it would appear it is. So today's brew day is brought to you by coarse milled extra pale from Simpsons, and coarse and a little bit of fine milled Golden Promise, because I forgot to tell them that I had some Golden Promise on that pallet and I needed it for this recipe as well. So I've mixed in 2 bags of fine milled Golden Promise with the sort of 4.5 of the straight up bags they sent me, plus some Golden Naked Oats, some wheat malt, which was from a previous batch. So, and obviously the wheat is not affected like the barley, but it was interesting. They were saying they know they've been having problems with the friability of some of the malt as it's been going through the system. And fair play to Jamie, technical director there. When I got onto the email with him, straight away he was like, no, we can sort this for you. I need to, that's probably 2 seconds. It's enough to start that rinsing off. Yes, let me just stick this up here a second. I'll be back, 2 seconds. So yeah, fair play. I know this makes great viewing because I'm not in shot, but so yeah, fair play to Simpsons. They were on it, recognised the problem, and were more than happy to address it, and work with me to find. It's a little bit loose there. Work with me to find the answer. So yeah, props to them. So today's brew day, hopefully, is going to go a lot smoother. Let's see if that will just go. Hopefully today's brew day will go a lot smoother. Cool, that rinse. The runoff will go fine. It looks really good at the moment, but then it did last time to begin with. It's when you get into the sparge that's when you really see how quickly it runs off. But it looks pretty good mashing in, and it was interesting. I put my hand in both bags before I loaded the hopper on the auger, and you could see the difference between the Golden Promise and the coarse grind extra pale, like how one was way more flowery than the other. But with all of those delays on sparge and stuff, that ended up being best part of like a 13, maybe 14-hour brew day, when it should have been sort of 8 hours plus a little bit for cleanup. So Saturday last weekend, I was still here finishing off CIP, and when the music and tap room was going halfway through at like 7 o'clock. So I finished here, and I messaged my wife. I think she might have been working next door in the cookery school, and I was like, I'm having a few beers. So Charlie was on the tap room with Reggie and stuff, and I just sat down with a couple of regulars and had a good couple of beers and just relaxed, because that was a hell of a day. That was. Don't want too many of those, I'll tell you. So yeah, yes, tough days. These things are sent to try us, but so far this looks all right. I'm interested to see what the extraction's like, because obviously it's coarser. In theory, it's coarser ground. It might actually be equivalent to what was the fine mill grind before. I mean, hopeful that the extraction is still the same. I'm told they'd expect it to be the same. So your brew house efficiency should be the same. Didn't put any rice hulls in this exactly for that reason, because There's not a huge amount of oats in it. It's not a crazy grain bill, so it shouldn't really have any problems. And given the coarse nature, I didn't want to give it any more reason to run off even quicker and run the risk of, you know, not actually getting the sugars out, particularly during the sparging phase, of the sugars out that, you know, you want, because you leave them behind because the water just runs through so quick. So hopefully that should be fine. Right then, let's start this running through. Let's get the sparge set up, and yeah, let's go from there. Let's get that, don't fall over. Right.